dire che no.
That was a quick fade out. I didn't expect it to go that fast. Hey, what's going on, everybody? A lot of people already in the chat. Tonight we're going to be talking about some first aid stuff. Lisa pulled out all her stuff from the garage, and then, of course, we're going to be talking about some tinfoil hat stuff. I'm not sure about this whole camera thing because I had to turn it to the side, and I'm a little further away. She's a little closer, but should be a good show. Anyway, what are you up to?
I'm just still
doing a show,
but I'm just getting used to hearing that song. That totally brought me back to when we were doing the podcast. I was like,
podcast?
"Ooh,
yeah.
This is like it's our regular podcasting time."
Yeah. I was noticing in the chat too, Dorian said he's new to prepping, so that's very cool. This is a cool video for you to actually come and watch because we're going to be we'll be going in through some conspiracy stuff at the end, kind of fun style, but we're going to be doing a lot of first aid stuff. So with that, we're also Liberated Lady said she's loving your hair, Lisa.
Oh, thank you so much.
Never see Dale's. That's on purpose, actually. But we're going to be doing some of Lisa's stuff and all that. If anybody has any questions about what her recommendations are, Lisa's an RN. Wound care nurse, we're probably going to talk a lot about wound care as well with this, not just the first aid supplies, but some of the stuff behind it.
But the first aid supplies is the funnest part.
Yeah, as preppers, we all love that, the gear
gotta
and
have
stuff,
the
right?
stuff.
Yeah, so very cool. I just got this microphone too, so if my volume is low and she's going to be going back and forth, just let us know in the chat, and I will try to pay attention. So... Do you want to go ahead and just get started with this?
Yes. And we made a little clip earlier today just to kind of show you what my first aid supplies are. So we've got a couple of different things in here.
This is your kit that you keep in the barn, right? We got to explain. It's the horses,
yes.
kind of?
Yes. So this is actually the ones, it's for us and for the horses. So what I did was take a Husky toolbox and I turned that into my barn first aid kit. So there's 3 different compartments. There's one, this is number 2, and we're connecting that, or I'm connecting that, and Dale was filming me do it. And then this was the 3rd component.
And that's enough. That's, enough stuff for your horses?
It's enough stuff.
It's never enough.
It's never enough, but it is enough in case of an emergency happens. And then I made this awesome little first aid kit too, and he goes right on top. And then if we had to leave all of a sudden, I can take our people first aid kit and I can just set that right on top of the animal first aid kit, which a lot of the things in the animal first aid kit you can actually use for people as well.
Yeah, yeah. And the reason I said it's enough, but it's not enough is because when your horse, and some people may know this because we've talked about it before, when your horse basically gashed its leg,
yes.
A huge gash.
Yeah.
The stuff you had, the stuff that you thought you had enough of.
It wasn't enough.
Yeah, didn't turn out to be enough.
No. And duct tape, I did use duct tape because he ended up cutting the saffronous vein on his leg, which is a really, really big vein going all the way down his back leg. And I was trying to get the bleeding to stop. And so I was like ace wrapping it and stuff. And then I was using duct tape. Duct tape does not work really great when there is a lot of blood. Just so you know.
Yeah, yeah. Nancy, Shelby, a lot of new, or maybe new to me anyway. I don't know if they're new people, but let me clear my throat so nobody has to listen to that. But at any rate, the reason that we did that video is because our little setup down here in the basement, I mean, the same reason I'm pushed to the side and she's got the captain's chair now, is because we don't have a whole lot of room. So that big horse kit,
all that stuff won't show. So
yeah.
we'll have like, here's a little one for people, and then
I do have the other camera. We could just.
I know, but I just want to show them that. So this is that little first aid kit that I made. So there's not a lot of space down here, but
and we've got an overhead camera. We'll show you what's in that stuff. But she did do a video of what she actually has in that. So I'll let you explain what your thought process is or was setting this kit up. But here's this of the actual contents of that kit that we just showed.
All right, so this is my horse kit and barn kit. So lots of different bandages, lots of gloves, some saline solution, even some Hypafix tape, and lots of different ace wraps, Coban or vet wrap, which is nice because it sticks to itself. And then this one, that's my home kit. And then this is like extra stuff, some different cotton rolls and some, all of this stuff is stuff I use on the horses, but then a bunch of gauze and Corona ointment. And then this is the smaller kit. And then this is the top part of the kit. And then this is a people kit. You can never have enough first aid supplies, in my opinion.
I forgot to I hit the button, but it was the wrong button. But yeah, I was trying to turn that off. But yeah, so I mean, that's the stuff that is in the barn. Brandon said in the chat too, first aid supplies go fast.
So fast.
Yeah, they do, especially when you're thinking about the gauze, the things, Band-Aids and all that, yeah, but when you're thinking about the gauze and the tape and if we did a Stop the Bleed class in Vegas with Brian, right? Remember when we were packing the wounds?
Oh, yeah. We went through so much stuff.
Yeah, you have that compressed gauze, and it just keeps going and going. And when your horse had that leg wound, which would be similar to a human having a large cut like that, and in an SHTF type situation, you're in that emergency, that same situation you were in before you had to wait for the vet to get here, and you had to do what you could right then. So it was just an absolute mess. But that's what you kind of have to expect going into all that stuff.
But it was kind of interesting because like I had blood on my hands because I didn't have gloves on when this happened, and there was like bloody handprints everywhere. That's the one thing I remember. It looked like a horror movie.
Looked like a murder scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm learning from watching all of the murder shows that you always have on.
Yeah. Research. At any rate, do you want to go through? We've got a couple of kits over there. Which one do you want to go through?
Let's go through a people kit. Let's go through this kit right here.
And if you want to move a couple of those aside and get a bigger area, you can. Just make sure you're still on camera, that's all.
Oh, hello, first aid kit. I'm going to put that one down. We'll get this guy out of the way. It's very heavy.
All stuff we could have done before the show started.
Yes. All right, so I like this little kit. I don't even know where we got this, but basically it's just got lots of different compartments in it, so you can put lots of different things. So this is actually a first aid kit that lives in one of our closets, so nothing hugely exciting. Probably the most exciting thing is I have some Zofran, which is an anti-nausea medication, so that is in there. And I have different scissors, some really, really sharp scissors, which are nice. But these are my most favorite style of scissors. These are called Lister bandage scissors. And I use these at work daily. I cut through huge splints that people have on their legs. Not with these. I have another pair, and I'll show you those in a minute. But these are nice because you can't cut you could cut somebody with them. But when you're removing bandages, it's got this tip on it. So you can cut through a bandage and you don't have to worry about cutting the person because this blade is shorter than this guy. So you can do lots of cutting and you don't have to worry that you're going to cut someone with it. So these are my first choice of scissors. Now there's also these, which are the EMT shears, and a lot of people like these. I don't like these quite as well. They're a little bit harder to work with. I like this is just my personal preference of a bandage scissors because I can use this on anything. This is my favorite. This is a smaller one, so it actually also fits in this kit very well.
Liberated Lady was saying in the chat, you can use that. I got the wrong. I got the wrong message up here. Here, this is the one I wanted to put up. You can use that little tongue thing for holding down gauze.
Yes.
So as you're bandaging somebody up.
Yeah. That little kind of spot right there. Yeah, that little guy.
Kind of an extra finger, I suppose.
Kind of. But yeah, I really like that. What else do we have in here? We have some lidocaine jelly, which is a numbing jelly. Lots of hydrocortisone cream. because Dale gets really itchy. These are chlorhexidine swabs, basically a antibacterial, antimicrobial. What else? Oh, we got some little giant Q-tips.
Now, I will say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a nurse, and
I am a nurse. You are correct.
just because everybody's kit doesn't have to be this intricate. I mean,
No.
everyone is going to be.
I think everybody, you have to. A first aid kit is really, it's personal to you, and you know what you're going to use. You can put Band-Aids in it, whatever is going to work best for you. We use our emergency kits all the time because Dale's always getting hurt, right? I think that's fair.
It's just a flesh wound.
But for his flesh wounds, we have my most favorite
Dirt.
ever.
Oh.
No, we have Silvasorb gel, which we use a lot of. So this is the stuff that we always talk about, the Silvasorb gel. I love this. It's like a smart gel. So it knows whether there's too much moisture or not enough moisture. If there's too much moisture in a wound, this will actually absorb it. If there is not enough moisture, it will donate moisture from the gel itself. It's really cool. I don't know if I can make it come out on the video.
Now what are you going to do with that?
I was going to put it on you.
You're going to wipe it on something?
Yeah.
Like a little kid with a booger?
Yeah. But it's kind of a sticky gel, and it works really, really well for all kinds of wounds. The Silvasorb gel is what I would use in place of, say, like Neosporin or bacitracin or any type of antibiotic ointments. This is what I'm going to go for first. This one right here.
Joe said in the chat, walk it off, Dale. Man up.
Man up, Dale.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's basically my philosophy.
I gotta rub it on my hands. And it also has silver in it, so that's kind of cool.
Now, real quick, before you get back onto that, I want to ask you a question about that, because that's something that a lot of people ask when we talk about it, me and Brian. Silvasorb is not necessarily available. It's really hard to find. I'll put it that way.
It is.
For the normal person.
Yes.
Because of where you work and what you do, it's
easier for me to get it. Yeah.
There are alternatives, though. Are they silver gels you can get on Amazon? Are they worth a crap?
I haven't ever used them, so
Okay.
I don't know. I have used Curad makes one, and it's a silver gel. It's not as thick as the Silvasorb gel, but it would work in a pinch. And we've used it before in the past, and I have not had any issues with it.
So it's just a consistency, basically, and
Yeah.
it's kind of the same stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is. And if you can get your hands on Silvasorb, it is a little bit expensive too. So
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes you can find it on Amazon. You just got to keep an eye out for it. But and I think this product is by Medline. That's who makes Silvasorb.
all right, so go through a couple more in there, and then we'll get into the red bag, because I think the red bag's more fun.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So one thing that I do have, and because a lot of times you need saline for cleaning, I like to use saline for cleaning, but I just have saline for contact solution. And what I really like about this is when you squeeze it really hard, it makes it come out in a jet. So that can actually
Like
clean.
an eye wash?
Yeah, like an eye wash, or you can clean out a wound, get the debris out of a wound. Of course, we're going to have steri strips, so lots of steri strips. I do have a few Band-Aids, but I prefer to make my own Band-Aids. And actually, with Hypofix, you can make a really nice Band-Aid. If you don't have any foams, you can just use gauze. This is just 2x2 gauze. This would make a really, really nice Band-Aid with the Hypofix tape.
That's what I usually do, because one, the Band-Aids, who knows where they are at any given time, and I know where all of this stuff is, so it's
Right.
like I'm just grabbing some gauze and some Hypofix, and
Right. And because this is always set up. This is always like this. We know where this is. I do have some aspirin in here, just a little 81 milligram aspirin. And not really a pain. I mean, you can use it as a pain reliever, but it actually works really well as a blood thinner too. And Mastazole. Mastazole is sticky. So it's like a little blister pack, and you just pop that, you squeeze it, and then the Mastazole comes off from the top. You can put that on the sides of like a cut, if you had a really deep cut after it's done bleeding, of course. And then you pat it with some gauze. Then you take the steri strips and just kind of pull it over. And then you don't have to suture, because I'm not going to suture because I don't know how.
You know, and we do have a couple of different methods too. We do have those zip stitches.
Yes.
I didn't pull them up here. I should have. I completely spaced it out. We've got really large ones, and then we've got a couple smaller ones. And then, yeah, the steri strips and all that is a good option as well. So.
And then we have, what is this? This is Skin Prep, I think. Yeah, Sure Prep. That's actually these little prep pads. They're also sticky. So it's a no sting skin prep. So you put it on the skin and it actually protects it from the adhesives, and it's sticky. So it'll help something stick down better.
Yeah. Hey, Joe asked, what about Coban or Vet Rep to make bandages?
Yes, and I use that a lot, especially on horses. And actually, even after I had foot surgery, that was how I kept my incision covered. I put 2x2 gauze on it, and then just Coban or Vet Wrap, which is the same thing. You can use it interchangeably. And I put that over top of my foot to make a compression wrap.
I was just going to say, kind of the same thing as a compression dressing, right?
Yes.
It's the same principle.
Yes.
I guess if you got a little cut and then you rub some dirt on it like me, then you don't necessarily want to put a compression dressing on it. Unless you rub some dirt on it and then you get some Silvasorb gel, and then you're cool, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Good to know. I'm taking notes.
Okay, good. And then Dale got these really fancy Viking wipes. They're like really big wet wipes. So those are kind of cool too. Different kinds of tape. This is like a fabric tape. And then, of course, the old standby medical tape, I guess. This is kind of that plastic tape. It's nice because it rips really easily. But you just have to be careful, because if people have a sensitivity to adhesives, this can really irritate their skin. I actually have a tape allergy, so I can't use that on my skin. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. I've been with you a while, Lisa. Yeah,
And
I pay attention sometimes.
just for grins and giggles, I don't have a tourniquet here, but this stuff was cool. So this is what they use when they put around.
Tourniquet's in the red bag, right?
Yes. When they put on your arm for drawing blood, that I've got a whole bunch of these. I don't know why, but those are in there too, just in case. I guess you could tie that around something. You never know. Like tie a dressing on.
What would you, since we're talking about tourniquets and you can go to your other thing, what would you do? I guess you don't do anything for a horse, right? Or for a large animal. And we're going to talk about other animals as well. We're not just going to, because I know most people probably don't own horses. That's just a wild guess.
Maybe.
I mean, as far as preppers, probably a lot of chickens, maybe some small game and stuff like that. But I'm thinking not a lot of horses. But as far as like tourniquets and stuff, I guess what you did was just try to stop the bleeding right there, not really cut off the bleeding, because you really can't, right?
Well, I did end up using Vet Wrap on him too, to really just compress it. So what you can do is just take a bunch of gauze and like stack it up.
So like Joe was saying.
Yeah. Put it on there and then use Vet Wrap, and then, pull, because you need to compress when you have a huge slice like that.
You're making a tourniquet.
You are.
Yeah, or at least trying to close that wound.
Well,
yeah,
you're
putting
kind of
pressure
making
on
a
it.
tourniquet, but you're applying pressure with the gauze, then that wrap holds it in place.
Gotcha. Now, one question before we move on to that that I had about like dogs, cats, small animals. What do you do when it's like, because with us, it's pretty easy. We got straight limbs. It's not that big a deal. But when you've got dogs that have legs that are all, bendy and all that crap, how do you go about, or they connect to their hip? If they did something like that, is it just wrap the crap out of everything you can? And,
that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would just wrap it with the Coban, the Vet Wrap, so that it's going to stay in place.
So if a dog hurts its hip or whatever, you're trying to get around its leg, around its waist, around all that different stuff, just to
make it stay in place, because you're not going to be able to make it like stick. You're going to put the dressing on, like, and then you can't really tape it because of their hair.
Yeah. And then how would you, and I'm thinking a disaster scenario here where you couldn't get to a vet or something, what would you do as far as getting them to not, gnaw on that? I suppose I suppose we should still have one of those cones,
we need to have
right?
a cone. Yeah, I think we need a cone of shame.
Yeah, that would be. I don't know that you'd be able to do a whole lot.
No.
Unless you can get a little bit of extra sleepy time meds from your vet.
You could use Benadryl, or actually, yeah, you could get Tramadol from your vet because they give dogs Tramadol.
Yeah. All right, so you want to go through
my people kit?
Yeah, the one we keep in the closet upstairs, and this is the one that we have the smaller stuff, in the closet, in the bathroom, the Band-Aids, the stuff like that is kind of quick access. But this is more for people that know what the hell they're doing, I suppose. Like with the bandages, not just grabbing a little bit of the Silvazorb and a Band-Aid.
No.
This is more kind of extensive. So this all goes into the closet where if something happens, we grab it. I usually do. I don't even bother with the Band-Aids, like I said earlier, but we grab it. So I'll let you.
That's really, you've improved so much.
Yeah, that's why I married you.
I'm so proud of you. Don't just grab the Band-Aids. Let's get some Band-Aids.
Hey, before I met you, I didn't even use Band-Aids.
Just rub dirt on it.
Yeah, or
you
just
rub dirt on everything.
You grab your finger and just hold it really tight. Eventually the bleeding stops, then you just got to wash your hands.
Well, that's one thing that me and Sarah at work say all the time. All bleeding stops eventually.
It's true. That's true, yeah. Brandon said in the chat he saw an alternative to the cone of shame recently. He just can't remember what it was. So if you think about it, let us know.
That'd be really cool.
All right, so let's go through the actual our first aid kit.
Okay, so I love this bag. And I got this bag when we were doing Survivalist Prepper all the time. They got me, your audience, I guess it was our audience, got me a gift card to Amazon.
Yeah, Jenny and everyone.
Yeah,
yep.
And this is the kit that I bought. And this thing is so nice. I love it. It's got tons of pockets, and I'll show you that in a minute.
Kevin said it's got to be clean dirt, right?
It has to be clean dirt,
Duh.
Kevin. Only clean dirt. And, I mean, there's places to put your scissors and stuff on the back. There's different hooks. It has what do you call that? A strap? No, this is the strap.
Yeah, that's just the handle.
Strap. Yeah, but it's got the handle that velcros together, so you can go easily with this thing. And it's a little bit heavy, but I have a lot of stuff in here. But I do like all of the pockets. And one thing that I can tell you with setting up your first aid kit is, besides being very personal, you want to set your kit up so you know where everything is. And if you're putting lots and lots of different things, just kind of pushing them in.
Just don't throw stuff in pockets.
Yeah, because you're not going to know
somewhere
where everything is. So just by having it like this, I know that I have gauze, or my tape is in here. I have gauze in here. I have like dressing stuff. On one side, I have regular dressings, like plain dressings. On one side, I have dressings that are more specialized, like that have different antimicrobials in them. I have gloves. I know in one of these bags or one of these pockets is my headlamp. And then on the inside is all of the bigger stuff.
Liberated Lady said, I love the bag. Where did you find it? I don't know exactly where Jenny did get it from. I think she got me that Yukon Outfitters bag at the same time.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's a
love
very
it.
cool
Love
bag.
it.
And it's not the cheap, you can get some cheap stuff from Amazon.
Yeah, no, this is really well put together. It's really well made.
Does it have a tag? Do you know what the brand is? While you're going through your pockets, you can't do it all at the same time, Lisa?
I can't, Dale.
Never mind. We can find out later.
Like, I don't know. All right.
I'll quit distracting you now.
Yes, you're distracting me. Okay, so we're going to go to a side pocket. So this is gloves. And gloves can be really expensive when you're buying nitrile gloves. So we'll buy a box of them, and then I like to separate them out into little, these are just freezer bags that have that, it's like a Ziploc. These are a Walmart version though, but I always keep gloves. You need lots of gloves, and you can use these for everything. We even use them, when we have to clean the dog's butt because he gets too much poop on his butt and he gets a bath. I don't want my hands on, his poopy rear end, so we put gloves on. And then what else do I have? to go along with that, I have some hand sanitizer.
Now, we don't have to go through everything in this kit. We still got to get to your little conspiracy theories and stuff, too.
I told you, I could talk this stuff for hours.
That's why I said.
This is my wheelhouse.
That's what I said before the show. Don't get mad at me if I'm cutting you off, because I know you could go for days.
All right, so I do have a thermometer, and this is cast padding. So, like, if you had to wrap somebody, like splint somebody, this is what you use. Cast padding is really nice to have. It gives a nice soft dressing. Hypafix, this is wonderful tape.
That's medical duct tape, basically.
This stuff is so cool. So, and you can buy this anywhere. You don't have to be a nurse or a doctor or anything. But it peels down the center, and you can just cut off however much you need. So, and it comes on a big roll. And even though, like I said earlier, I do have a tape sensitivity and I can't handle Band-Aids, I can't handle stuff like that, I can handle Hypafix on my skin. It does not cause any issues for me. But that'll last a long, long time. That's nice. More little chlorhexidine swabs. So these basically take the place of iodine or betadine, which this one is an iodine swab. But sometimes people have allergies to iodine. And when you're cleaning a wound or an area with iodine, you can't go over where you just cleaned with the iodine, or it's not considered sterile. But with chlorhexidine, with these they're like giant Q-tips, you can rub it all over. It doesn't matter which direction, and it's still considered sterile. This is what they use before someone has surgery. And thermometer again. But I like the stuff in the center because this is if something were to happen and we had to bug out, we had to leave, this bag is definitely something that I'm going to be taking because of everything I have in it. So this is that rolled gauze that Dale was talking about.
Can't ever have enough of that stuff. Yeah, and there's all sorts of H&H makes it.
Yeah,
I think that might be
H&H. It is. And
Israeli dressing.
Yep.
I don't think you're supposed to say that anymore, but oh well.
And then I have my little water filter in here.
What medical purpose does that serve?
If you need a drink.
I suppose, yeah. Or
you're gonna be thirsty.
Keep them hydrated.
Yes.
Make sure it's filtered good water.
Well, it will be because it's got that on it. That's the filter.
Yeah. That is it. That's made by Sawyer. That is actually a pretty damn good filter. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get you a different one to put in your bag because that's pretty good. Other than it being plastic.
I have different tourniquets.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of those. Brian and I were talking about those tourniquets the other day. Not the cats, but
this is not a cat tourniquet.
But that is a cat.
This one is a cat. No, this guy.
Yeah, and talking about how the cats are better than that. But we have a bunch of those, and it's kind of that the typical prepper saying 2 is 1, 1 is none thing. So
more scissors with this is actually a suture removal kit, excuse me. So I do have a nice little pickup or tweezers, and the scissors actually have like a hook on the end of it so you can get up underneath a suture. I got my stethoscope and tape. Now they do have different styles of stethoscopes, and I like this one. I think this is a Sprague stethoscope. It's called. It's got the two tubes. I like this one because I can't hear very well, and with this I can hear really, really well. And this was probably like $25. You don't have to go out and buy the super, super fancy like cardiology type stethoscopes. Those are nice, but you don't really need that. But stethoscopes are nice to have in your kit because, of course, you can listen to someone's heart, but you can also listen for breath sounds, and you can listen to their bowel sounds too and make sure their tummy is working.
Did we put the pulse oximeter, or did I put the pulse oximeter back in there?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's still next to my bed because thinking about that, you're thinking about your airway and breathing and the blood,
yes,
the oxygen in their blood and all that. Pulse oximeter is really easy to use and super important to have too. We just don't have it here.
Yeah, because Dale was very concerned when he had COVID. He was watching his breathing.
Oh yeah, I was checking my blood.
Watching that
because with COVID, what they say is that if your blood oxygen level gets below, I forget what it was, 90 or something, that's when you should be concerned. So
Well, if it's like in
I
the
was like a
70s and
hypochondriac.
80s, if it's in the 70s and 80s, you need to be concerned.
No, I was talking if it dips below 90 something. And
Well,
mine was at like 96 or whatever.
Yeah,
so
you
it was
were
fine the
fine.
whole time,
You were
but I was
perfect.
checking every 45 minutes because
yes.
I don't like the doctor.
And I do have some candles,
Is the kitchen sink in there too?
pretty much. And then gauze. Now, this is a huge package of gauze. It has 200, is it 200? Yeah. 200 gauze pads. This is not sterile. It's just clean. So you can never have enough gauze. I think in my horse kit, I have like 3 packages of this. What else? Alcohol. Barf bags. These are nice to have. So if somebody's sick, it's a barf bag. And you can even count how much they've barfed. Pretty fancy, huh?
Because that's good information to know. Why would you want to know that?
Because you're collecting ins. They call them I's and O's, ins and outs. How much someone's taking in fluid wise, and how much they're losing. So sometimes you have to monitor, like if people are drinking enough, getting enough to drink, how much they're urinating, and if they're vomiting, you have to measure that too. So if you were in a situation you wanted to see, like Dale's really sick and he's only taking in 500 mLs of fluid a day, but he's passing 1,000 mLs of fluid a day, pretty good indicator he's dehydrated.
That's too much math for me. just tell him, drink some water. All right, a couple more, and then
okay.
I'm cutting you off. Okay?
All right, more saline. What else do I have in here? I have to go fast, huh? Witch hazel. Coban. And that's pretty much it in the big. And then these are all like the foam dressings and different. These are awesome. You have to have foam dressings. This is an antimicrobial dressing, which is also foam. And then I have specialty dressings, which I don't think everybody needs a specialty dressing, so we won't go into that. And then a notepad. Pens, a Sharpie pen, chapstick, and my handy dandy headlamp, because I love
Gotta
headlamps.
have a headlamp, yeah.
But I thought I had, I don't know where I put my scissors. I think they're in the side. Yeah, these are the ones that I really, really like. So these are like those other bandage scissors, but they're big. So these are literally what I use every single day at work. And I work in an orthopedic clinic, so lots of short leg casts, lots of arm casts that are being cut off, splints that are being cut off. And these things are a beast. They are awesome. They work really well.
Yeah. Cool. That's a lot of stuff. And like I said in the beginning, I mean, it's everyone's got their own thing. You have a lot of specialty dressings and stuff in there because that's what you do for a living.
That is what I do.
You understand what, and I'm not even going to try to, name any of them, but, I got one on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember it.
Meplex.
Meplex. That's the one I was going to say, but you understand how all those work and what applications they would be helpful in. So that's why you have them, but a lot of people don't have to have all that stuff.
No.
And if you don't have a bag that big, there's a lot of stuff in there that honestly isn't, or some people wouldn't want in there. I don't want to say necessary because you've deemed it necessary and you put it in the bag.
Right.
I know the outside pockets where the good stuff is and all that stuff, and honestly didn't know half that stuff was in the
there,
inside. Yeah.
Right. But see, that's what's so neat about this. And if we did come to a situation where we had to leave, you have your bug out bag, you have the things that are important to you, which are going to help us. But then I have the things that I know that are important to me, which are going to help us as well. So the kits, I think, are just really, it's a good idea to have a first aid kit that is specialized to you and what you're planning on using it for. And just knowing how to use everything that's in your kit is really important as well.
Yeah. And Kevin was talking about the nasal pharyngeal airway and all that. We don't have, we're going to get them. The reason that I don't know if it's just me, but I'm really apprehensive. And I know if somebody was, that is one of the main things, the airway, right? Stop the bleeding, make sure they're breathing. Oxygen in the blood,
ABCs. Airway, breathing, circulation.
But it just, to me, makes me a little queasy shoving something down somebody's nose. But I guess there are situations where that's feasible. The other part of that is I'd want to get some sort of, I know it's not like you don't have to take like a weekend class and learn how to use a nasal pharyngeal airway, but I'd want a little bit of training on it more than just what I'm getting on YouTube. And there's different sizes you would need for different people. So depending on your family, I think female is like size 7, or maybe a male is. I can't remember now. But it's just, they are important. I'm not trying to say they're not important, and they will be in there, but right now they're not. So
no, but that's the next thing that is going to be in my kit is I'm going to get NG tubes or what is it?
Nasal pharyngeal airways.
That's what I'm going to get. But I also want to learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how.
Brandon said in the chat he's got a great training video for those.
Cool. Thanks, Brandon.
I'm sure it's probably hit. If it's you shoving one up your nose, yeah. Well, I'll play that on the show. All right. So one last thing on this, and then we're going to get to some tinfoil hat stuff because you've got a couple things, and I got a couple things, or I've got one thing. I don't know what you have yet. But with wound care, since you are a wound care nurse, go into real quick the process as far as, say somebody cuts themselves, just something that's borderline needs stitches, right? Like you're not sure if you need stitches or not, but it's definitely not a go to the hospital type situation. How do you address that? And I suppose I should say how it happened, right?
I don't know.
Well, okay, so say you're out camping or something.
You're out walking in the backyard and you have your knife out and you fall on it. How's that? And
fall on
your knife and it hits you in the arm.
Or I'm cutting something and I'm an idiot and I slice myself with it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go that route.
Okay.
What is the process at that point for a wound like that?
Well, it depends on if it's bleeding or not. If it's bleeding, first we got to clean it.
My knife is sharp, so it's
going
to
bleed. We got to clean it, and then we're going to put a compressive wrap on it.
What about the Silvasorb and all that stuff?
Well, the Silvasorb really isn't going to do a whole lot of good if you're like actively bleeding and there's like blood coming out. It's like.
So you're going to stop that? That's where I was trying to get you to go with this.
I'm going to stop the bleeding first. So you cut yourself right here. I'm going to put a compressive wrap with lots of gauze, and then I'm going to put Coban over top of that. Once the bleeding has stopped, then I will come back and we'll take that compressive wrap off and we'll clean up the edges because it's going to be bloody, all of the blood that's on there. So we'll clean that all up with probably the chlorhexidine or something like that. And then I might do a little Silvasorb. And then we're going to put a nice dressing, still with some compression, because you could still have bleeding after that.
Yeah. Hey, and Kevin said just go back and watch the footage from Prepper Med. Yeah, I get that, Kevin. I'm trying to do a show, though, and explain to other people. But, yeah, it's fairly easy, but it's got to be done right, because if it's not done right, then you're looking at infection. You're looking at problems down the line.
You're still probably looking at an increased risk of infection, because anytime that you have a break in the skin, that is an opportunity for an infection to happen. And we all have bacteria on our skin. We all have strep, we have staph, we have all of that on our skin. But a lot of times they call them an opportunistic infection because that bacteria gets inside of you. And then if it gets sealed inside of you, then that's when you play havoc and make all kinds of bad things happen.
Yeah. And Into the Wilderness said, take a Stop the Bleed course, yeah.
Yes, the Stop the Bleed course is awesome.
Yeah, and that's what Kevin was talking about with Prepper Med, was basically what that was. It was a lot more than that, but it was basically what that was. And then we did the same thing in Vegas with Brian and North American Rescue and all that. So those classes are just fantastic.
That's really valuable. I think Stop the Bleed class, basic CPR, that kind of thing, those are beneficial to anyone, whether they're in preparedness or not.
Yeah. I think everybody should. And on that as well, taking the class is one thing, but after a few years, you kind of forget about all the stuff you learned.
Yep.
I think the main thing for me with taking those classes was the stress that you're under, right? When something like that is happening, something, even you with your horse was kind of that same situation.
It was like, oh crap.
Yeah, that oh crap moment where you're just, you got to, I guess, practice that a little bit and get used to that stress and knowing how to react. Because when we did the prepper med with Kevin, I didn't. I was horrible. I mean,
You were not horrible.
Oh, I was bad.
You were not bad. You did fine.
Yeah. So.
Hey, try taking off a cast on somebody that's soaked with blood. And every time you pull the cast out, there's blood coming out of it. And you have no idea what's underneath that. So the more things that you do, like you get experience with cuts and things like that, and you seeing some blood, that it's going to make you able to deal with the bigger things. And hopefully you'll never have to cut a cast off of somebody that is saturated in blood.
Yeah, you've showed me some pictures that are just downright disgusting, and for you, it's normal.
Oh,
because you look at it every day.
It's a pretty wound. There's a difference between a pretty wound and an ugly wound. There's some really ugly wounds, but after a while, then those wounds turn into pretty wounds.
Brandon said, "What, Dale? You're not pinning down Lisa and throwing on the tourniquet every once in a while?" Oh, I forgot to put that. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Hey, we do the tourniquets once in a while because the same thing. You have to know how to use them.
But you know what would be more fun is like sneak attacks.
That would be fun. We should try that.
Not around the neck though.
Okay.
That's not fun. All right, so Into the Wilderness said, Dale, I'd love to be on again with off-grid skills. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'll have you on. Hit me up on my email, dale@survivalistprepper.net or Dale at the Survival Preppers, whatever. You can hit me up and find me. Or you probably already have my email. I don't know. But yeah, that would be very cool. We can talk about some off-grid skills and stuff like that. So let's kind of pivot here and talk about...
Let's get to the real stuff.
Yeah, let's get to the important stuff, right?
The important stuff. We need to talk about conspiracies.
And because I know you listen to No Agenda all the time, and they're not necessarily conspiracy.
No, they're pretty good.
But they do go into some stuff that is not YouTube friendly, and they make no bones about their opinions and all that stuff. And you listen to Clyde Lewis
every day,
who is off his rocker.
He's not off his rocker. Dude he knows what's going on. He knows.
Well, I'll tell you what. There are some shows where he talks and he sounds, I don't want to call it rational because, people watch this show and they'd be like, rational? What the hell are you talking about?
He's totally rational. Okay.
But he's making some sense. And then there's other ones where he's playing animal sounds and acting like it's aliens or something. And it's like, you've got to be kidding me.
No.
And then the callers the people that call in.
Okay, the people that call in are a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so way back in, like, before COVID happened, he actually was talking about, and this was even before Christmas, before that happened, that there was, he was talking about this virus that was happening in China and that it was going to come here and that they were keeping people under wraps. I think I even talked to you about that. And I think you kind of like,
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible because, anytime it's hit or miss whether I remember what you said about Clyde Lewis or not. So.
No, he's awesome. He's awesome. He was talking about the other day, there's this thing that's going to be happening supposedly. Now, I don't know if it's exactly, but on December 13th, it's called C Day. And this is when the Fed and everybody's supposed to be bringing out their digidollars and starting to really go away from just dollars. So what kind of money is that? Fiat currency.
Digital dollars is fiat as well.
Okay,
but it's just paper.
But no paper money and no coins. And it's supposed to happen on December 13th. Or that might just be like their rollout day. I don't know. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. But supposedly that is when they are going to start implementing their little things about not having like dollars, that you only can have digital money.
That's definitely going to happen. And
it's really interesting and I'm going to cut you off. Just sorry.
Go for it.
That's what I got to do.
Sorry, ma'am.
That's right, sir. Okay. But I was listening to something else. I think the news yesterday morning, and they were talking about how some Starbucks are not going to be taking cash anymore. they're only going to be taking digital money.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is the rollout of it. This is the start of it, of getting us away from our dollars and cents.
Yeah, they're testing that stuff. There's even places in California where they're testing the universal basic income stuff.
Yeah.
And seeing how that's going to work.
Yeah, and Clyde Lewis talked about that years ago, and you laughed at me. You said they will never do something like that. And I was like, hey, they're going to try it. They're going to give everybody an income.
So Clyde Lewis is like the modern day Nostradamus is what you're telling me?
No, he just does the research.
He's underappreciated and misunderstood.
He is underappreciated.
Okay. But I guess you don't really have to be a genius to see that all of that stuff is coming down the pipe. I just saw this article the other day as well, talking about that's about the recession. We can talk about that later if you want to. This is the one I was going to talk about, though. The Fed now, they're going to launch this in the beginning of 2023. And basically what the Fed now is, it's not the digital currency, but it is their payment gateway. And the way they phrase this is they're helping us. They're making it more convenient for us to give them our money, basically, is what it is.
Isn't that nice?
Or them to give us back a portion of the money that we gave them in the first place.
That they stole.
Yeah, yeah. So,
oh my God, that's so nice of them.
But I think this is,
wow.
Yeah, aren't they?
They're always thinking of us.
I don't know why I complain about the government so much.
They really
are nice guys. Yeah, yeah. But I think this is kind of the first. It's that death by 1,000 cuts type thing. So this is going to roll out.
This will be the first.
Behind the scenes, they're testing out and they're talking about a digital currency. The Fed is, because they want their hands in it, guaranteed. And how all of that's going to work out. So that, I think, is going to happen. My deal with that is how long until actual cash becomes useless? Because even these days, sorry, I had to cough again. Even these days, people don't use cash much, but
No.
it isn't outlawed and still accepted. So I suppose when they go to that digital currency, when you think about it, we kind of already are. It's just not them having control of our bank accounts and all that stuff.
But they want it so that they can have control over every single like zero and whatever dot and penny that we get. Regardless if it's doing something like, we sold something. I built horse jumps and I sold a set. Well, they got to make sure they got their cut of that.
Well, and then the Fed now is kind of just that little payment gateway between, hey, we've got, we need the bank to deposit this much into our account or our IRS fund because they didn't pay enough here, didn't pay enough there. So, it's all coming that direction. It's just a matter of how we get there and the things that happen in that whole process that really concern me about them having control over everything. And then when you think about the green, the social credit stuff, and you think about green energy and all the things that it's just more control, more control, more control.
It goes right along with their whole 2030 agenda.
Yeah. I want to play this video real quick, and I don't know who this dude is. He's somebody out in Europe, though. You can tell because he sounds British. But talking about the Netherlands, where they're the farmers are basically standing up and bitching about them and he explains in here why all of that stuff is happening. And basically he's saying the World Economic Forum. But let me play this real quick, and then we can kind of talk about that.
Why has the Dutch government, a guy called Rutte, the Prime Minister, completely owned by the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab, why has he just announced that the Netherlands, the second biggest exporter of food in the world, is targeting farmers to destroy them and get them off the land, which is where all these farming protests in the Netherlands have come from? At a time of food shortages and supply chain problems, you are targeting the second biggest exporter of food in the bloody world to destroy its farming base? Why are you doing that? If people depend on you for what's left of the food, you control them. Where food is abundant and cheap, you do not control them. Where energy is cheap and abundant, you do not control them. Scarcity equals dependency equals control. And that's why they're targeting the food chain, they're targeting the energy supply, they're targeting everything. Why?
Well, wrong button. I don't want to listen to that dude again. It's kind of hard to watch because he like pauses, like his brain just freezes every once in a while, huh?
Why?
Why? Yeah, but he makes some really good points because I don't know. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of things going on behind the scenes of why all of this stuff is happening and all that, but it sure seems like you got Bill Gates buying up all the farmland. You've got them engineering or trying to, make people feel bad about eating cows, and they're trying to. I've noticed it, and I don't know, maybe it's just my conspiracy head, but I've noticed the whole thing with insects, almost trying to create a normalcy with that type of weird stuff.
Yeah, they actually had Nicole Kidman made this video, and I don't know. It was on No Agenda. They were talking about it, and she was eating like all of this food that had been made with crickets and cricket flour and mealworms and stuff, and she's sitting there and you just hear oh, it's so good, oh, it's kind of spicy. It's like, seriously?
Meanwhile, just get one of those barf bags out, because that's probably what's going on behind the scenes.
It's like, it's so, I mean, she's not going to eat that every day, but Nicole Kidman's doing it, so we should all do it.
Well, you get these climate activist actors and all that stuff that are flying around in their private jets and all that. So I mean, they don't have to. They just have to do it while the camera's on.
Yeah.
And behind the scenes they can do whatever they want. But
then everybody else, not everybody else, but a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do my part.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's we'll see. I mean, it's. I don't see it. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff, and we've talked about this on the Survival Preppers a few times. There's a lot of this stuff that's just necessary. It's going to happen with automation, with technology, and all that stuff. People are going to be out of jobs, all that. But it's how all of this stuff goes down. And I think if these yahoos and the governments that are increasingly just kind of getting further and further away from the people and feeling like they can do whatever the heck they want, I think that.
I think they already do.
Yeah.
They're already doing that.
Liberated Lady said that's how Nicole Kidman stays so skinny.
Oh, that's what I've been doing wrong.
Yeah. Botox, liposuction, all that too.
And
Botox, liposuction, and insects.
I got to eat my crickets
Yeah.
and my mealworms. I'm going to go fight over the mealworms with the chickens.
You could. That'd be a good video.
That would be a good video.
That would be a good video. You chasing the chickens around?
For fighting for the last mealworm.
Yeah. It could be, dystopian fiction become reality pretty soon.
Well, it seems like all of dystopian fiction has become reality. It really does.
Yeah.
I'm not really impressed with the way that the world is going. And that was okay. So this is what Clyde Lewis was talking about yesterday. So
real quick though,
okay.
Misreading the River said, Lisa, read the Kissinger report and then think about why Bill Gates does what he does. There's a homework assignment for you.
All right, I'll get right on that. I will. No, I seriously will. But Clyde Lewis was talking about the Antichrist, and actually yesterday he was talking about there is a river, and I can't remember what it was, Euphrates River or something. And it's so funny that you made the comment about the sounds, the animal sounds, because there's some river. I don't know where it is, in Jordan or somewhere, that it's going dry. So as it's going dry, these caves are coming out. And then they're hearing these sounds coming out of these caves. And it's like chains and moans and animals.
Keep going. I'm just going to get your little sound bite. I forgot I had this on here. So keep talking.
I think Euphrates River? I don't know. I can't remember which one it was. Yes, this is yes. But so then today he was talking about Prince Charles and who's going to be the next Antichrist, and everything's pointing to Prince Charles is actually the Antichrist.
I would buy that, and that right there is a perfect example.
I can't believe you just said that. You would buy that.
Well, because I mean, there's probably 150 yahoos that you could say nobody's ever going to know until it happens. But that right there is a perfect example of some of the crap that Clyde Lewis says. that
comes true.
He makes sense. It's kind of like Alex Jones. You used to listen to Alex Jones all the time too, and I think that was more entertainment than
because he was more snake oil, and he was really in love with himself.
Yeah, but it was entertaining.
It was entertaining.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think Clyde Lewis sometimes he goes off that deep end. And
White Rabbit said the Euphrates River is drying up. That's where it is. It's the Euphrates River that he was talking about.
Yeah. There's a lot of you look at what's going on in Arizona, Nevada, the Hoover Dam, Lake Mead,
Colorado
all
River.
over the place. Yeah, all of this, and then you've got on top of that, you've got out east. I think Mississippi and Kentucky recently just flooding like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's insane. You got too much water on that side, not enough on the other side. So that could lead to.
Maybe that's because of the weather engineering that they're doing.
That's not that. I didn't think we were going this way, but yeah, explain yourself.
Well, no, I don't. I really can't. But they're doing it.
You can't open up that can of worms and then just say, "Oh, never mind."
Well, it's like they're doing things to screw around with the weather. HARP might even have something to do with that.
Yeah, I think there could be some stuff with that, but honestly, there is so much going on right now. I'm not worried about that.
Well, it's like...
Or maybe they're doing it because they want to promote the whole climate change thing. That seems a little bit...
Yeah, but see, it's like the magician. Watch what's going on over here, and all the work is going on over here.
That is pretty coordinated and pretty high level for a lot of these idiots up there, though. But you never know. I guess
because they're working with the aliens.
There we go. I knew the aliens were coming at some point.
The aliens are here.
Hey, we couldn't have you on without talking about how the aliens are orchestrating all this stuff.
Yeah.
They did recently, kind of not say that there was aliens, but kind of...
But said there's aliens.
Allude to the not human element. I forget exactly how they phrased it with the UAPs or UFOs or whatever they are. They did say something about how it was not... They didn't say aliens, but they...
I'm not saying it's aliens.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me one bit though, but I don't know that the aliens would be working with all these yahoos down here.
I don't think that we are intelligent enough for the aliens to work with. I think we might be dinner.
Yeah, I think it'd be just one or a bunch of laser beams, and hopefully they start in Washington. Get all the capitals, the of the world, all these yahoos up on top, and then, of course, if they did that, then they would just take over, and who knows what you're getting out of an alien race, right? Are there good ones and bad ones? I mean, should I be rooting for reptilians or no?
No, the reptilians are the bad ones.
Oh, those are the ones that are already here.
Yes, that's actually Princess Diana before she died. She said that Queen Elizabeth and Philip were alien. They were reptiles. They were reptilians.
Who did she say that to?
I don't know. Some guy that was interviewing her.
She was smoking something.
And she also said
she was in a fight with her mom or something.
And she threw herself down the stairs when she was pregnant with William because she said that she felt like she was carrying the Antichrist, even though the Antichrist is his dad.
Yeah. Brandon said here, he said, work out the aliens going to eat the fat ones first. I don't know. You never know with the aliens. I mean, maybe they like the lean meat. I think they're just going to vaporize everyone and just be done with it.
And just take our resources. Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the planet. I mean.
Well, all the resources of the planet. Yeah, they don't need us.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Unless the aliens were us at one time. And because I think we came from Mars. We came here from Mars because look at Mars. Mars is decimated. So then we came here and now we're doing the same thing to Mars. So then we're going to leave. And I think we did leave. And those are time travelers of us coming back.
Yeah. You know what? There's a lot of stuff that happened before we were even around. So, who knows? Maybe before the Egyptians, before the pyramids, all that stuff that is just gone now, erased from Earth's history. I mean, you never know. But, they found dinosaurs. So.
Yeah.
Eric said, I've never seen a UFO or an alien, but you never know if they're real. I haven't either. But
I have.
But Lisa here has seen a few of them.
I have.
Yeah. I've seen you saw
Dale-
one outside of an airplane, and I
Dale's
looked at
just
it,
jealous.
and it sure looked like another airplane to me. But
Nope.
you know,
It was an unidentified flying object.
why is it nobody can get pictures these days? There's I mean, you've got iPhones
We're-
that have better cameras than
We're
DSLRs
going to do
now.
a test. We're going to do a test. We're going to go outside, and I'm going to throw up something like a Frisbee or something in the air. And I want you to have your phone. I want you to be ready, and you take a picture of it, and let's see what kind of a picture you get.
So did you just admit that these guys that are saying it's alien stuff are throwing Frisbees in the air and taking pictures and
No.
saying, look, I saw
No.
a spaceship?
No.
I think you just did. Yeah. It's like you don't know how it's done, Dale. This is how you get a UFO.
This is how you do it, Dale.
You put a little tiny flashlight on it and you wait till night and then you throw it in the air.
No.
Yeah. Or these days you got Photoshop and After Effects and all that stuff. It's super
Oh, yeah.
easy.
I made a really good UFO picture. I put that on my Facebook page once. It was
Yeah.
pretty cool. I just used Photoshop. People thought it was real. It was cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't invite you on Ancient Aliens. That would be an interesting show.
Yeah.
You and that Giorgio Tsoukalos or whatever his
He'd
name
be
is.
really neat to meet in person. I
Chia
would
Pet
really,
dude,
I would
or-
like to meet the troll head guy.
That's what he reminds me of, the troll
The
head.
troll
Like the
head.
trolls that you spin around like that and their
Yes.
hair just goes all freaked out.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would really like to meet him. That would
Yeah.
be kind of cool.
Brandon said, there's a man on the wing of this plane.
That was a good show. That was a
Was it Twilight Zone or something?
yes,
Was it?
yes, yeah. I think it was Twilight Zone.
All right. Well, that was a fun conversation. But we
Was that real or is that sarcasm? That was a
no, it was
fun
it was a fun conversation.
Okay.
I'm not buying it for nothing, but it's a fun conversation. And like we always, I mean, we said it 100 times. Anytime we get into this argument, and we do it while we're not on the air too. Mm-hmm. But anytime we get into this type of argument, you're gonna be the one laughing when they're coming down probing.
Oh,
me.
I am. I'm gonna lead them. I'm gonna say right here. You can probe his butt first.
You better hope they give a crap what you say. First off. They're going to be, coming across galaxy after galaxy, and they're going to be like,
that is one time when I will say I told you so. But nobody wants to listen to me.
White Rabbit said it was a fun conversation, Lisa. All right, so with we talked about the water shortages and the food shortages. About the manufactured possibility of manufactured food shortages and all that. You see all of this stuff happening recently, and the energy we just saw on the news this morning too. And I was mentioning this with Brian that XL Energy companies. I don't know if you saw it. I saw it. XL Energy out here in Colorado, there was like 750 people or something like that actually could not change the temperature in their house because XL Energy.
No. Because they got the smart meter, huh?
Yeah, and they signed
Yes.
up. Now,
Yep.
they did sign up. It's not like XL did this to everyone. They did sign up.
Yet.
XL basically said, "We'll give you $100 if kind of like The Godfather. I'll do you a favor, and the day may come where I ask you, but that day may never come." That's kind of what XL did. I'll give you $100 if you sign up for this program. That in the future we're allowed to not let you change your thermostat in your house. So everybody's house was like 80 degrees. You've got out in California where they're basically which is kind of ironic, telling everybody with smart cars not to charge their smart cars, but we're going to go to this whole.
But everybody's going to have an electric car.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to have gas powered cars anymore. But yet you can't charge your electric car.
I'm trying to read Brandon's comment.
Oh.
I don't know if he's talking crap about me or not. Probably. He said, I think they're slow in abducting him, starting with the hair. Oh, no, I lost track of where I was. Oh, yeah, the electric cars and stuff. All of that stuff, you look in Europe, they're in for a long, cold winter. Literally.
I'm kind of terrified for the people in Europe to see what happens this winter because they don't have fuel.
They're going to cave.
But they have because they can't heat their homes. They don't have gas.
Yeah. Well, and then you've got the food shortages and all that. And I don't think the food shortages will start here in the United States. Or it's possible it never even really does make it here to the United States.
I don't know. Just still, I mean, like even going to the grocery store today and I really like, I can't believe it's not butter. I like that margarine. And we haven't bought it for a long time. And I was like, I think I want to buy that. It was $10 for a tub of butter. And not even butter, margarine. It's vegetable oil. $10. I was like, no. And everything was like that. Everything is so expensive. Yeah. And I think that's like the first part of it. But they're also planting the seed and they were actually talking about it on the news today, saying, "Oh, there's a new bird flu that's coming around, and it's getting all of the."
Brandon texted me something about that, too.
Yeah,
in
so
South America somewhere.
It's taking all of the poultry, so watch out, we're gonna have a turkey shortage at Thanksgiving. So I mean, they're planting all of these seeds. They're doing what they want to do.
Yeah, actually, Brandon texted me about something else down in but it's all anytime you hear that stuff. It's here we go again.
Yeah, and I think I don't know when the food shortages, if they will come here, but I think they will.
Brandon, I predict food shortages will start in Ethiopia. I'm betting that's probably true. We'll have to wait till Clyde Lewis lets us know if that's where it's going to go.
He'll let us know. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
He will let us know.
But at any rate, yeah, it's going to be interesting. You've got it just seems like there's so many things that could be down the pipe that could just be, you just never know. You've got the food short, or you've got the food prices, not necessarily the food shortages, because nobody can afford it anyway. So the shelves are probably going to be okay. You're just not going to be able to buy the stuff. I've noticed pet food and
everything.
Just everything is just going up. And we don't even have it near as bad as they do in Europe. I think their inflation is up to like 50% or something. It's crazy.
Well, they did finally admit today on the news, too, that we are in a recession. So we must have finally fit their narrative.
I don't know if we just caught that section and they actually said it. But, yeah, it did sound like he said, he admitted. But again, it's only, it's if it fits their narrative, they're going to say it. If it doesn't, they're not going to say it.
Right.
So, but at any rate, as far as preparedness goes, I mean, what we've been doing is we try to stock up on as much of the stuff as we can, whether it's, we've been eating some of the ground turkey and stuff. That is twice as much as the pork, right?
Yeah,
so it's paying attention to all that stuff.
Right. It was very expensive. But thankfully, our garden is like, all of the squash and the tomatoes are going gangbusters, so I think we'll have plenty of squash.
Squash, tomatoes, and carrots.
Yeah. And onions too. Those will be good for that.
And big giant pumpkins.
Huge
Don't know what
pumpkins.
you're gonna do with those damn things.
I'm gonna puree them and turn them into pumpkin puree, and then we'll have pumpkin pie and pumpkin soup, pumpkin bread, pumpkin muffins.
I'm so sick of pumpkin
and pumpkin seeds.
Seeds are good, yeah. I can do the pumpkin seeds, but
yeah.
And I love pumpkin pie, but I'm gonna be so sick of it by Christmas. I guarantee you, it's gonna be crazy. But at any rate, we're about at 10 after an hour, so we're gonna get out of here tonight. Like I said, I've said a couple times, I'm gonna try to make Lisa come on. Once a month or so, somewhere in that, once every 4 weeks, 6 weeks, somewhere in that range, and talk about some stuff.
I'll give you all some new conspiracies to think about.
Yeah. If you guys have any ideas or any crazy stuff you want to talk about.
I got to read the Kissinger papers.
Yeah. Definitely have to do that. Maybe we can talk about that next time. Any preparedness topics you want to talk about as well? We've been doing this for so long, years and years, all of our Survivalist Prepper podcasts, almost 400.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah. I'm looking at the comments here. Brandon saying there's a new food pyramid. Eat and be broke. Stage 1 is eat and be broke. Stage 2 is don't eat. And then Misreading the River said stage 3 is eat people.
Eat people.
Yep. That's right. That's about it. But at any rate, and I will be doing these. I'm going to try to continue to do them on Thursday nights. That way everybody knows when they're going to be. Not sure if they're going to be every week yet. I'm going to try. I did that impromptu live stream last week, and it didn't go terrible.
I thought it was pretty good. I watched you while I was driving home, and it was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Good job.
Didn't feel pretty darn good when I was doing it. And
well,
I'm not about to watch it because I have a feeling it was
No,
a train
you were
wreck,
awesome. It did good. I liked it.
All right.
You did it just for me, so.
Yeah. Actually, as White Rabbit and Liberated Lady and everyone in the chat goaded me on Misreading the River. Said, come on, man. Do it.
Do it.
Jump. Anyway, all right, everyone. I appreciate you all in the chat tonight. We've got our show over at the Survival Preppers on Sunday with Brian. Like I said, we'll have Lisa back on in the future. Into the Wilderness or Titan Preparedness. I don't remember which one was asking about being on the show.
And that was Into the Wilderness.
Was it? Yeah.
I think so.
Come on. Yeah, either way.
Come on.
Yeah, both of them would
Come on.
both of them would be fun to have on. But I appreciate it, everyone. We will talk to you later. Take care and prepare.